This year, 2020, we are approaching the centenary of Art Deco. Art Deco was a global style, gaining popularity and wide application in different cultural expression, ranging from architecture, film, consumer products, graphic design, among others. Its prevalence in the Philippines found architectural expression in memorable buildings built between 1920s and the 1950s. In this final episode, we will see the influences of streamlining, the ideology of eugenics, and the period's preoccupation with the body beautiful. And finally, we will see the demise of Art Deco as we move on to post-war reconstruction, where modernism was the dominant language to rebuild our country.
The Art Deco style of streamlining influenced not only products and architecture. The streamlined silhouette was also a coveted style in fashion design. The new woman with the bob and the clinging dress was a streamlined form. Hair and dresses were cut shorter to achieve a slim silhouette and unhindered movement of the body that allowed women to dance the Charleston. Filipino women of age in the 1920s lived independently from their families in college dormitories in Manila, ran by American dorm mothers. Mentored in the American way, these elite dormitory girls spoke in English amongst themselves, engaged in the liberated jazz culture, and mimicked the looks of movie stars. The flapper look was a breakaway from tradition, a rebellious statement against things prude and conservative. The Filipina flapper emulated her American counterpart and wore makeup, permed her hair, and smoked cigarettes. The period's preoccupation with the body beautiful and fashion for revealing garments was more than just a superficial fad. Machine-age streamlining, linked to the notions of efficiency and mass production, was perceived as a model for human beings. Streamlining was the pursuit of an idea of perfect form that was appropriate to the age. An age in which speed, dynamism, modernity were premium. The idea of machine-like human perfection became a kind of fetish in the 1930s. This was an era of mass displays in which hundreds, sometimes thousands of bodies acted like synchronized mechanical components in a streamlined production process. Nowhere was this fascination with the notion of the body, strength, power, and movement coming together more evident than in Leni Riefenstahl's Olympia, a 1936 Nazi propaganda film. Such imagery is the very same aesthetic that Busby Berkeley's musicals sought to orchestrate in his kaleidoscopic compositions of bodies. The age of Art Deco was dominated by an idea that human beings could be made as perfect as the machines that surrounded them. More than just a design style, streamlining is an ideological pursuit linked to eugenics. Eugenics wanted to redesign society, and the industrial designers of that time believed in the eugenic progress to manufacture the future perfect form. A more streamlined body, a more streamlined lifestyle. Eugenics seeks to apply the known laws of heredity so as to prevent the degeneration of the race. The eugenics movement found its most appalling manifestation in Nazi Germany. This was the sinister side of the Deco period. For American designers, eugenics was a mere design template and not a political ideology. The vision of a streamlined consumer paradise came to a reality with the World's Fair held in New York in 1939. Attracting over 44 million visitors, the 1939 World's Fair was a fascinating forecast for things to come in the world of tomorrow. It was the final and great blossoming of the streamlined modern of Art Deco, heralded not only by architects but by industrial designers as well. In contrast to the Paris Exposition of 1925, which had been elite, luxurious, and highly decorative, the futuristic visions of the 1939 New York's World Fair pursued an austere, streamlined aesthetics. It was a futuristic city inspired by the pages and covers of pulp science fiction. Huge geometric shapes, sweeping curves, plenty of glass, chromium, and gleaming white walls. The 1939 fair's streamlined buildings, with their soaring towers and fins, expressed in physical form the idea of forward motion, of frictionless speed, that paved the way for modernism's mass appeal, as it was also heavily influenced by the still rising international style of such architects as Le Corbusier and Ludwig Mies van der Rohe. While America was looking forward to the seductive and intoxicating world of tomorrow, Europe was staring into the abyss. Blinded by the dazzling optimism of the fair, visitors seemed to ignore the darkening cloud of war on the horizon overseas, where Hitler, Mussolini, and Imperial Japan offered their own visions of tomorrow. The Second World War had eclipsed Art Deco's shining moment. At the end of World War II, Manila and other urban centers lay in ruins. Irreplaceable architectural treasures were reduced to rubble. Many Art Deco structures were obliterated by bombs. Some would be fortunate to be rebuilt. But post-war reconstruction could be an age of austerity and sacrifice, banishing Art Deco's decadent opulence in the landscape. an alternative aesthetic was to emerge responsive of the times, one that was completely devoid of ornament and historical precedent. Art Deco had been rendered irrelevant, replaced by modernism, which offered a fast and inexpensive way of rebuilding war-torn cities. Art Deco's brilliance may no longer be with us, and its promise of an elegant, sophisticated modernity may have crumbled to dust. Yet, defiant relics of Philippine Art Deco heritage persist in our midst, abandoned and decaying, waiting for us to rediscover what it once stood for and to appreciate how the future might have been.
Nagustuhan niyo bang episode na to? For more updates, subscribe to my channel.